Good morning, students. We have started a revision of life process chapter. In the first class, we have discussed the brief introduction about four life processes. In today's class, let us discuss the questions of this chapter. Not complete, but at least to some extent, we will revise the questions. Right? First one. Why is diffusion insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms like humans? Why is diffusion insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms like humans? Diffusion can meet the oxygen requirements of an organism if the entire surface of the organism is in direct contact with the environment. This is the condition. When the entire surface of the organism is in direct contact with the environment, then only diffusion can meet the oxygen requirements of an organism. In multicellular organisms, the surface of most of the cells does not in direct contact with the environment. So, if the oxygen has to reach all of the cells by diffusion, it would take a very long time. So, diffusion is insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms. Since most of the cells are not in direct contact with the environment, by diffusion alone, if the oxygen has to reach all these cells, it would take a very long time. So, diffusion is insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms. What are the outside raw materials used by an organism? So every organism, it uses outside raw materials. What for they are used by an organism, and what are those organisms? What are those raw materials, and what purpose for which they are using those raw materials? All of the organisms, they need energy for carrying out their life processes. And raw materials are used for the growth and development of the body of the organisms. Right? This is the purpose. So, raw materials are used for two things: to get energy and to build the body. To build the body and to get energy. All of the organisms, they obtain the outside raw materials. And what are those raw materials? And how would they get it? Heterotrophic organisms, organisms that cannot make their own food. Heterotrophic organisms take in oxygen, water, and food as raw materials from the outside. Okay. Oxygen for cellular respiration, water for metabolic needs, and food. It is the source of energy as well as raw materials to build the body. These are the things that the heterotrophic organisms take in from the outside. Autotrophic organisms like plants, photosynthetic bacteria, they make their own food by photosynthesis. So, they do not take the food, but they take carbon dioxide and water as raw materials from the outside, and they capture solar energy to carry out photosynthesis. So, this should be written. Thank you. Where do plants get each of the raw materials needed for photosynthesis? Where do plants get each of the raw materials needed for photosynthesis? Plants get carbon dioxide from atmosphere. Plants get water from underground water. Plants get solar energy from sun. Write the differences between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition means the method of nutrition in which the organism will be able to make the food on their own. Heterotrophic nutrition means the method of nutrition in which the organism cannot make the food on its own. So it is dependent on autotrophic organisms either directly or indirectly for its nutritional purposes. And autotrophic nutrition, the organic material is prepared from inorganic sources. In heterotrophic nutrition, the organic material is not prepared, instead it is obtained from the other organisms. Examples for autotrophic nutrition carrying out organisms are green plants and photosynthetic bacteria. Example for heterotrophs are animals. Okay. Next, what is the role of acid in our stomach? In our stomach, hydrochloric acid is released. What is its role? Hydrochloric acid, it acidifies the food and helps protein digestion by pepsin, because pepsin also is released by the gastric glands of the stomach walls. This pepsin acts on proteins only in acidic medium. That acidic medium is provided by the acid present in our stomach. When we ingest the food, ingest means take in the food, that food will contain so many harmful microorganisms. Since the stomach wall released hydrochloric acid is highly concentrated, this hydrochloric acid kills all of the harmful microorganisms. The first role of hydrochloric acid is providing acidic condition in order to facilitate the protein digestion by the pepsin. Second role of hydrochloric acid is killing all of the harmful microorganisms. And acid, since it is very concentrated, it softens the food for further digestion, which is going to be carried out in small intestine. Okay. How is the small intestine designed to absorb the digested food? If you take any organ, it will have some or other epithelial tissue present both on inside as well as outside. So the small intestine also has inner epithelial tissue. The inner epithelial tissue of small intestine, it has many finger-like projections which are called villi. These villi increase the surface area for the absorption of the final digested end products. These villi are the finger-like projections in the inner epithelial layer of the small intestine. What do they do? These villi increase the surface area for the absorption of the final digested end products. These finger-like projections, they are richly supplied with blood capillaries, and through which the final digested end products are actively absorbed. Right. Next question. What advantage over an aquatic organism does a terrestrial organism has with regard to obtaining oxygen for respiration? Listen the question once again. What advantage over an aquatic organism does a terrestrial organism has? Over an aquatic organism does a terrestrial organism has with regard to what? With regard to obtaining oxygen for respiration. In the atmosphere, oxygen is available in enough concentration, whereas it is available, oxygen is available very less in the dissolved form in water. So which organisms have more availability of oxygen for their respiration? Terrestrial organisms. Which organisms have less availability of oxygen for their respiration? Aquatic organisms. When something is available more, do we need to put more efforts or less efforts? So if something is available more, we may need to put less efforts. If something is available less but it is needed, what should we do? We may need to put more efforts. So due to more availability of oxygen, terrestrial organisms have to make less efforts for obtaining oxygen over aquatic organisms, whereas aquatic organisms have to make more efforts for obtaining oxygen than compared to terrestrial organisms. That is the reason the breath rate of aquatic organisms is more than compared to the terrestrial organisms if the aquatic organism is taking dissolved oxygen. All aquatic organisms do not take dissolved oxygen. Crocodiles, snakes, tortoise, turtles, like these organisms, they do not take dissolved oxygen. In such organisms, breath rate is very, very less than compared to normally living terrestrial organisms. Okay, aquatic organisms that take atmospheric oxygen have lowest breath rate than compared to the terrestrial organisms. Aquatic organisms that take dissolved oxygen, they have highest breath rate than compared to what? The same aquatic organisms that are taking atmospheric oxygen or the terrestrial organisms. It looks like little complex. Okay, but based on the habitat and based on their what? Way of obtaining oxygen, it all depends. Completely land living organisms, they have moderate breath rate. Aquatic organisms that take dissolved oxygen, they have high breath rate, highest breath rate, means per every minute many number of breaths that it is going to take. Aquatic organisms that take atmospheric oxygen, they have lowest breath rate. Okay. Next, what are the different ways in which glucose is oxidized to provide energy in various organisms? Glucose is oxidized, that is broken down in two different ways of cellular respiration modes. They are aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. They are what? Aerobic respiration and anaerobic. Aerobic respiration, the complete oxidation of glucose or the complete breakdown of glucose to yield energy in the presence of oxygen. In this respiration, high amount of energy is produced. Anaerobic respiration, the incomplete oxidation of glucose to yield energy in the absence of oxygen. In this, less amount of energy is produced. How oxygen and CO2 or carbon dioxide are transported in human beings in their circulatory system. Oxygen is transported by being bound to hemoglobin because oxygen has poor solubility or low solubility in blood plasma, whereas CO2 is transported by being dissolved in blood plasma because CO2 has more solubility in blood plasma. So, CO2 is transported by being dissolved in blood plasma, whereas oxygen is transported by being bound to hemoglobin. And oxygen-rich blood or oxygenated blood is carried by arteries, and CO2-rich blood or deoxygenated blood is carried out by is carried by veins. How are the lungs designed in human beings to maximize the area for gaseous exchange or exchange of gases? Inside the lungs, the air passage divides into smaller tubes. These tubes are known as bronchi, and these bronchi form the bronchioles. Like branches, they form the sub-branches. In the same way, first initially formed branches, that is bronchi, they form the bronchioles. Again, these bronchioles, further they will have tiny balloon-like structures called alveoli. These alveoli, which are present in the lungs, they provide the maximum surface area for the gases exchange between alveoli and the blood capillaries. From where these blood capillaries have come? The alveoli are having very thin walls, almost single-celled. Thickness only is present. And they have extensive network of blood capillaries surrounding them to facilitate the exchange of gases. The alveoli get oxygenated air and the capillaries bring deoxygenated air. So there, the CO2 from the blood capillaries enter into alveoli by diffusion process, and the O2 or oxygen enters the blood capillaries from the alveoli by diffusion. Thus, in between the alveoli and the blood capillaries, gases exchange occurs due to the difference in the partial pressures of both oxygen and carbon dioxide in between the alveoli and the blood capillaries. What are the components of transportation system in human beings and what are their functions? There are three components of the transportation system in human beings. They are a pumping organ, a network of tubes, and a system to repair. The pumping organ is nothing but heart. Human heart is four-chambered in its structure. With its four chambers, the human heart can pump out the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood to body tissues and lungs respectively. So from the left ventricle, oxygenated blood is supplied to body tissues, and from the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood is supplied to lungs. A network of tubes, arteries, veins, venules, arterioles, etc. They form the network of tubes. The arteries and arterioles, they carry O2 rich blood, and the veins and venules, they carry the CO2 rich blood. System to repair. Due to various pressures, the blood vessels, that is arteries, veins, capillaries, etc., they may get damaged or they may get holes. If these holes are not plugged or sealed, the blood pressure may be lost, due to which the blood may not be properly supplied to body tissues or to lungs. In such case, what will happen? Poor blood flow result in poor amount of oxygen that is supplied to cells, and poor amount of oxygen that is supplied to cells will result ultimately in poor generation of energy, because when oxygen is supplied less, low rate of cellular respiration is carried out, which automatically produces low amount of energy. So body will become weak. In order to avoid all these things, these leaks have to be plugged or sealed. So there is a system to repair. That system contains platelets. These platelets are the special cells which help in the sealing or plugging the leaks made by the damages, because the leakage may cause collapse of blood pressure. The other questions we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.